The Secret of Instant Healing by Frank J. Kinslow. This audiobook is produced by Lucid Sea, Incorporated, and read by the author. Copyright 2010. All rights reserved.
Dedication. For Martina, my wife, the essence of innocence, compassion, and love, and proof that quantum entrainment has influence over the angelic realm. Preface. What if I told you that just by being aware of a problem, you can fix it? Sure, you say. I become aware of problems, and then I take steps to correct them. What's so special about that? That is pretty much the way life unfolds, isn't it? That's not what I'm talking about. What if you just became aware of a problem and, with no more effort on your part, awareness did the fixing? Would that be special? Sure it would. And that is exactly what I'm talking about. You can become aware of an arthritic knee, indigestion, or a headache, anger or fear, a failing relationship, or the loss of a job in just the right way, and the organizing genius of awareness will fix that problem. That is not just special, it's a wonderment. It is a skill that could alter your world and our planet in unimaginable ways. It is a way of embracing life that would soften and enliven the world we live in, transforming it into a world of our dreams. Simply put, becoming aware of the healing and organizing force of awareness is the answer to the problems that have plagued us since we first stood erect and stepped headlong into the human condition. If it seems to you that I have overinflated the role of awareness in attuning our lives to our inherent wisdom, I have not. And it will only take you a few minutes to discover the accuracy of my assertion. This is a small book wielding stupendous potential, but you don't have to take my word for it, not at all. What I am offering you is a scientifically reproducible process that anyone can do. All you need be is aware. Are you aware? Are you conscious of reading these words? Do you know if you are sitting or standing? Do you know what you are thinking right now? Then that settles it. You can learn the simple steps that refine your awareness and heal your body and mind. You can learn to heal the bodies and minds of others, and, with a little help from your friends, poised to transmute the ills of humankind on this earth. Are you ready? Do you feel a sense of anticipation, a feeling of imminent discovery? What happens to you within the pages of this simple book will be your private journey. We will know its impact by the deeds you perform after its reading. The rest is easy. You have only to turn the page and forever change your life. Thanksgiving Day 2007, Sarasota, Florida. Chapter 1. Beginning. Anything will give up its secrets if you love it enough. I have found that when I silently commune with people, they give up their secrets also, if you love them enough. George Washington Carver. There is a subtle secret that is waiting for you, closer than your next breath, more vital than your next heartbeat. Once you grasp this secret, your life will open to wonders light years beyond what you thought possible. It is the secret to health and joy and peace, and it is working right now as you read these lines. But this secret is hidden from you. It is hidden not within the symbols of an obscure parchment, deep within the bowels of an ancient temple, but right before your open eyes. This simple book will reveal that secret to you and show you how to draw from its depths to enrich your life and the lives of your family, friends, and even your pets. In the pages that follow, you will learn how to heal body, mind, and soul as effortlessly as watching a poetic sunset. The scientific procedure that will unfold before you is easily learned and readily applied by all. It is as simple as the secret itself and as powerful. I recommend that you do not jump ahead, but read this book page by page. It is in this way that the secret will find its home in your consciousness. Please take time to do each exercise as it is presented. You will be learning a new skill, and some practice is necessary for it to become second nature. The exercises are not difficult. In fact, they are delightful, nurturing, and enlivening. So no matter how eager you are to start working wonders, take your time on the basics. As a wise teacher once shared, well begun is half done. On your trek, you will first gain an understanding of what awareness is and where it can be found. Then you will meet your secret face to face and embrace it as an old friend. Finally, you will learn how to entice it out into your life and heal your body, harmonize your emotions, and sharpen your mind, creating a more productive and joyful life. Of course, you will be able to share your secret with others, healing and enlivening their lives as well. Chapter 2. The Secret Revealed. The ultimate value of life depends upon awareness and the power of contemplation, rather than upon mere survival. Aristotle. I would like to ask you a simple question. Understanding the answer could change your life forever. Think it through thoroughly, then continue. Here is the question. What is most important to you in this life? What did you come up with? Health, family, mind, job, ice cream? My answer to this question is awareness. Without awareness, you have nothing. You cannot love your spouse and children, work at your job, or sip coffee on a sidewalk cafe without awareness. For all intents and purposes, without awareness, you do not exist. Awareness is not your mind. If your mind were a light bulb, then awareness would be the electricity that lights it up. A dull reflection of awareness in the mind causes confusion, misunderstanding, and ultimately suffering. A mind bright with awareness is calm and present. It displays a peaceful gentleness that puts others at ease. If you look at awareness as your inner light, you will be close to understanding its vital importance. The quality of your awareness determines the quality of your life. It is important that your awareness be vibrant and awake. Let's say you are sitting in a completely dark room next to a window. It is pre-dawn, but light is just starting to enter the room when you look down and see an undefinable form at your feet. Fascinated, you continue to watch as, little by little, the room lightens and you begin to see the object more clearly. All at once, and to your horror, you realize that the object is a coiled snake ready to strike. You are immobilized, afraid to move for fear the snake will strike a moving target. Your mind is firing off frantic thoughts like, is the snake poisonous? If I move a muscle, will it strike? If I'm bitten, how will I get help? You sit stone still as the light continues to slowly lighten the room. You note that for some reason, the snake has not yet struck. You begin to relax a little and think more clearly. Your mind quickly reviews escape scenarios, while your body remains rigid and unmoving. The sun crests the horizon and the first rays of dawn break through the window, filling the room with a delicate golden light. Then, like the brightness of lightning on the blackness of night, you see that the snake is actually a coiled rope. You felt fear, your mind froze, then shattered, thoughts scattered like broken glass. All the while your rigid body was pumping stress hormones into your blood, preparing you for battle. In those few moments you may have aged months. Why? Simply because you perceived a threat where there was none. We can equate the darkness with impaired awareness. Overwork or lack of exercise, drugs, alcohol, poor diet, anger, greed, or grief all dampen consciousness and impair our ability to perceive our world in a non-threatening way. Our lives are filled with perceived threats. We have financial snakes, job snakes, family snakes. Even while driving to a pleasant event like a movie or the beach, traffic can ruin the mood, boiling blood pressure and exploding temperatures. We are the fight or flight generation perceiving snakes around every corner. How do we change those perceptions? How do we enjoy the full light of day, exposing those snakes for the ineffectual ropes that they are? Why? We become more aware. Awareness is like sunlight. It lightens the emotions and enlightens the mind. Dull minds and muddy emotions are poor reflectors of awareness. Perception is fueled by our awareness. Pure awareness can never be fooled by a rope. Most of the time, our minds are on autopilot. Incessant mental chatter is a good example of a runaway mind. The hyperactive mind, so common today that it is considered normal, wastes vast amounts of energy and continually gets us into trouble. Other symptoms include worrying about the future or dwelling on the past, boredom, frustration, anger, anxiety, and fear. These are all ropes that look like snakes. Dull awareness makes our world a fearful place. Awareness is everywhere all the time, but we just don't pay attention to it. I know that sounds a little weird, but it's true. Normally, we are preoccupied with things and people and thoughts that make up our everyday lives. We are aware of those things, but are we aware of awareness? Not often. Most of us wouldn't know pure awareness if it walked right up and shook our hand. That is all about the change. Wait a minute, that's it? That's the secret? Awareness? You are probably feeling a little disappointed right now. I would too, if I thought that I could own the secret of the universe simply by identifying what happens when it is in short supply. You may not have a very clear idea of what I'm talking about either. That is because pure awareness cannot be captured in the mind's eye. You can't take a picture of pure awareness. Awareness is not a thing or idea or emotion. So talking about it can be frustrating if you want to own it with your mind. It's not physical, so you can't grab awareness and use it like a hammer. However, once you have experienced, or actually non-experienced, pure awareness directly, all this will make perfect and beautiful sense. If you are a little confused at this point, don't worry. You don't have to understand anything about awareness to make it work wonders in your life. That said, it will be valuable to have some knowledge about awareness to explain to others why they can feel so good so fast. As you will soon discover, you will be creating miracles and having fun, and pure awareness will be as natural to you as breathing. Okay? Ready for a little book learning? Good. Chapter 3. Awareness and the Universe. Let us not look back in anger or forward in fear, but around in awareness. James Thurber. The moment one gives close attention to anything, even a blade of grass, it becomes a mysterious, awesome, indescribable, magnificent world in itself. Henry Miller. In your mind, draw a single horizontal line. That line represents the division between the phenomenal world of created things and the no thing from which they were created. Above the line is the infinity of creation, and below the unbounded abode of pure awareness. Pure awareness is one without form. That means it has no boundaries that our minds can identify. Our minds work with things that can be recognized by their differing forms. Minds are the containers for thoughts and emotions. Through our senses, our minds are kept in contact with the material world. We can distinguish a bagel from a bullfrog by their differences. That may seem rather simplistic, but the mind's job is to identify different forms, label and categorize them, then use them or file them for future use. This whole process is accomplished by thought, which is form. Thoughts and emotions are mental forms. Ideas, beliefs, hopes, and philosophies are the assemblage of thoughts around a central theme, much the way a chair is an assemblage of molecules around the idea of supporting you in a sitting position. Thoughts are not tangible as material objects, but they are objects nonetheless. The point here is that all things in the universe are individual and unique. Each object is separated and identified by its unique form. Below the horizontal line, we find that pure awareness has no form. Think of it as a blank page on which the words are to be written. Awareness is formless, unbounded, undifferentiated, and pure. It is one without a second. Because pure awareness is formless, it cannot be recognized by our minds. No matter how hard you try, you will not be able to understand awareness. Neither will you be able to control or manipulate it. It doesn't exist as a thing, so as far as your mind is concerned, it doesn't exist. But it does. So, here's the task we have ahead of us. We must find something with no form or substance. Then we must come to know this no thing more intimately than we know our own minds. Finally, we must use this unusable non-force to heal ourselves and others. Are you beginning to realize why this knowledge is secret? This secret exists because we live in our minds, unaware of awareness. Despite a lifetime of experience to the contrary, we believe our minds when they tell us that lasting joy, peace, and love come from things. We fall for that old trick time and time again, and we believe our minds when they tell us that nothing has no value. But it does. Pure awareness has no boundaries, so there is nothing that can change about awareness. That kind of nothing lasts forever. All other things, which means all of creation, change and even eventually ceased existing. Change is the only constant in the created realm. The instant a thing is created, it begins its journey to extinction. Pure awareness never changes, never dies. It is the field of undying love and unbounded peace. Now here's the kicker. Everything that has form comes out of formless pure awareness. Don't ask me how, it just does. Out of the womb of pure awareness is spun the web of creation. Quantum physics has discovered the realm of pure awareness, theoretically at least. David Bohm, one of the foremost theoretical physicists of his generation, identified an unbounded whole in which is contained an implicate order. This is not to be confused with the zero-point field or quantum state, which is the low-energy state of a particle or object. The state that Bohm is referring to has no energy. Plainly stated, this field contains the stuff of creation, silently waiting to become form or energy. So what Bohm is telling us is that everything comes from nothing. He is saying that, and I'm making a bit of an inductive leap here, creation springs out of the nothing of pure awareness. You will actually experience this later when you learn how to stop your thinking. Then watch your thoughts materialize again out of nothing. Now, let's turn our eye back towards phenomenal creation, found above the horizontal line. Everything in creation expresses two qualities, order and energy. Let's use the chair you are sitting in to demonstrate this point. What you call your chair is actually energy in the form of a chair. We know it exhibits energy because your chair keeps your derriere in the air. I love poetry, don't you? Order in the energy-order equation is expressed by the form of your chair. So it doesn't matter if we are referring to the stars or atoms, amoebas or zebras. Everything is energy and form. The most basic created form is the wave. Just before the wave and just after pure awareness on the creation hierarchy, you will find the zero-point field or quantum state. I add this tidbit for those who are familiar with quantum theory and want to appreciate more fully my position. If you are oriented more toward the healing sciences, this most basic level of creation is often referred to as the vital force, that which breathes life into organic existence. A wave is infinite, stretching out endlessly. Where waves overlap, they create subatomic particles. When the particles become more compact, they become atoms. Atoms huddle together to form molecules, and molecules arrange themselves in physical forms like chairs and flowers and cars. In our energy order hierarchy, the more tangible the order of a thing is, the less energy it expresses. Your chair is pretty solid compared to a subatomic particle. Subatomic particles are slippery little guys. If you know the exact location of a subatomic particle, you can't know how fast or in what direction it is moving. Likewise, if you clock its exact speed, you won't be able to find it. My kids were like adolescent subatomic particles right around chore time. If they were in motion, a necessary quality for completing chores, you couldn't find them. If you could define their exact position, i.e. on the couch in front of the TV, you couldn't get them moving. Looking back, it is amazing how many physics concepts my kids had mastered, like inertia, entropy, and particularly Heisenberg's uncertainty principle. I owe them a lot. Okay, let's get back to the idea of energy and matter. Each subtler level of creation contains more energy. At the present gross material level, the energy of the chair you are sitting in supports your weight. At the subtler molecular level of the chair, you will find more energy available. If we rearrange its molecules, say by setting it on fire, we could release a good deal more energy in the form of heat and light. If we want to release even more energy from the chair, we can go to the atomic level. If we knew how to split the atoms of a chair, we could release huge amounts of energy in many forms. I don't know of any work around harnessing the power of subatomic particles, but I do know of technologies that utilize subtle wave energy. This is the common abode of the energy healer, and we will explore this very interesting work on our way to learning how to heal without energy. Let me ask you this. Have you ever run out of thoughts? I didn't think so. One thing that we can say about thoughts is that from our first breath to our last, they are always there. If our thoughts are energy, and we never run out of them, then it stands to reason that the source of thought is an inexhaustible source of energy. It also stands that we might benefit greatly if we could tap directly into our source of thought. It turns out that uncovering the source of our thought has a definite and overwhelmingly positive healing influence on physical ailments, personal relationships, financial success, emotional fitness, and yes, even your love life. Every aspect of our lives is wonderfully transformed when we simply become aware of where it all begins. And that would be our ever-present companion, pure awareness. We just saw that the more refined levels of the material world yield more energy. But where did all that energy come from? By now we know it comes from pure awareness. Creation, by definition, is the movement of energy in some organized or orderly way. Here we need to understand a vital point. Pure awareness is the source of energy without being energy. It means it does not move. It has the potential to create, but it just hasn't done it yet. Neither does it have form. You could say that pure awareness is perfection, waiting to express itself. Now you may be thinking, where is he going with all this? I'm glad you asked. If you want to play solely in the relative field of life, by all means enjoy yourself. But if you want the greatest power and the most perfect order, you must contact the source of all knowledge, pure awareness. There are thousands of healing modalities that tap into the various levels of life. Bodywork and chiropractic are effective on the gross physical levels. Herbs and medications work on the molecular level. Acupuncture and energy healing work with subtle energy waves. None of these healing forms are designed to draw directly from the source of creation. This book will teach you the science of healing from awareness. I call this process quantum entrainment. Remember, pure awareness is the source of energy and order, and when you perform QE, you will be drawing from the purest, most powerful existent available. When you use quantum entrainment, you will not be doing the healing. Awareness will. What's more, you will be healed along with the people you are helping. Talk about your win-win relationship. Chapter 4. The Mind and Thoughts. The ancestor of every action is a thought. Ralph Waldo Emerson. Question is, can you become aware of the reflex character of thought? That is a reflex. And we could say that as long as the reflexes are free to change, then there must be some kind of intelligence or perception, something a bit beyond the reflex, which would be able to see whether it's coherent or not. David Bohm. Your mind is a created thing. It is not corporeal like your chair. It is mental rather than physical. But like matter, your mind is energy and order. Your mind is the container for your thoughts. A thought is a very interesting phenomenon. When I was with Maharishi Mahesh Yogi in the early 70s, I spent 5 months meditating in the sleepy Spanish town of La Antilla. I meditated 10 to 12 hours every day. After the first few weeks, my thoughts became very quiet, and I began to see how my mind worked. During that time, I cognized the birth of a thought. Each newly created thought was a single point of bristling energy at the doorstep of pure awareness. I watched as it expanded to reveal its contents. Within each thought form was a vibration that represented emotion, logical thought, and each of the 5 senses. Every thought is a galaxy within the universe of mind. Once born, the thought would cut its umbilical cord with mother awareness and begin to rise and expand like a bubble rising from the bottom of a pond. The ego is born at this very instant when thought separates from fullness. As it expanded, the thought energy became dispersed over a greater area. The thought became weaker the further it traveled away from its source. At this point, it was susceptible to distortion and could become adulterated. Finally, the thought would burst like a bubble on the surface of my mind. The bursting of the thought bubble, Maharishi later told me, was when the mind became conscious of the thought at the end of its journey. It is at this point that we act on our conscious thoughts. I was simultaneously experiencing its birth and its death through an expanded awareness resulting from my meditation. Each thought would have a dominant emotion and sensory vibration. As it expanded, the vibrations would interact and change. The thought would take its tendency towards action from the dominant inner vibrations. I also saw a kind of matrix through which thoughts would pass on their way to consciousness. If the inner workings had become distorted, this matrix could rearrange the inherent vibrations and change the tendency. Maharishi told me that this was the intellect filtering thoughts, helping to harmonize them so they would become more supportive to our health and well-being. There is a lot to be taken away from this experience, but for our purposes, I would like to concentrate on a single point. The further a thought gets away from pure awareness, the weaker it becomes, and the more likely it is to become harmful. What we call negative thoughts do not start out that way. They become misshapen by the imbalanced internal pressures of misconception and fear. Once a thought is born, it experiences a kind of separation anxiety. The Bhagavad Gita puts it this way: fear is born of duality. No longer attached to the unbounded oneness of awareness, a thought perceives that it